What is up, you guys? It is your boy, the Powerful Swordsman here, but y'all know me as the Bonkai to the motherfucking Tencho here, bringing y'all my very first ever Neptunia discussion. Now, let me start this off with saying that I am a starting Neptunia fan. I started off with Rebirth and finished it like about a couple days ago, and I'm in the middle of Rebirth 2 right now. So I'm still, I've been aware of Neptunia mainly since the old days, but have never played it. Now I chose this year to play it because I figure it's time I take a break off of Senran Kagura discussions, because I've been doing so many, man. Senran Kagura I've been playing for years and have known a lot about. And ever since Senran, I'm at Neptunia X Senran Kagura Ninja Wars dropped that day in Japan, it got me thinking that maybe this is a good time to actually play some challenging games and stuff. Start a challenging game franchise, and Neptunia was the one for me, bro. So you know what? After finishing Rebirth, I finally made it onto Rebirth 2. I've been streaming a lot and have been highly addicted to the game. So it got me thinking, maybe let's start some discussions, because I mainly wanted to get into Neptunia. I mainly wanted to get into Neptunia and play it just so I could also drop discussion, because maybe it's time I take a break from Senran Kagura discussions. I know I usually drop discussions on the weekends for Senran Kagura, but now it's time for Neptunia. I'm still going to drop Senran Kagura discussions, but for today, since it's like around weekdays and it's too late for me to actually drop it on the weekends, since I've been actually thinking about this, well, for once I'm going to make an exception for today. So on this Monday morning, so in this discussion, we're going to be talking about, for Neptunia, our very first Neptunia discussion. Now, be minded if I get a few things wrong. You don't have to rub it in or any of that stuff. Like I said, I am new to Neptunia, so say it in a nice way of what I got wrong. For now, let's get this started. Now, upon playing Neptunia, I am familiar with the character since the old days and all that stuff. And I think, when was Neptunia? Around 2010, I think. Okay, whether I'm wrong or not, don't care. But it's around 2010, right? I think when the first ever Neptunia game for the PS3 dropped, I think it was around 2010, I think. And I think it was only in Japan only, though. I don't think there was like an English release or something. I'm not really sure. But anyway, let's get started. The reason why I'm saying the year is because it's very important to talk about this. Now, Vert. We all know who Vert is. She is Lady Greenheart. Here's what I wanted to talk about, because in the stream, one of my friends, Jabster, dropped a sub to his channel because he knows a lot about Neptunia and has helped me during the game when it comes to status and a lot of things during my streams. So now I asked him something very important. Now we already know, we're all aware about what Neptunia is all about. It's about console wars and all that stuff. Everything going on between the nations, the four nations and everything like that. We got the Wii, which is the Nintendo Wii, where Blanc is basically the leader of that nation, the goddess of that nation. And we got Rom and Ram, who are basically like the Nintendo DS, I believe. Then we got Planeptune, which is basically like like Sega, all of Sega and all that stuff, from Nep's place and all that stuff, and the Sega consoles and everything like that. And then from that station, we have the PlayStation and the PSP, because for the PlayStation, we already know Noir is basically the PlayStation 3, while Uni is basically the PSP, I believe. So Vert is one thing about Vert. I'm already familiar with Vert. She's like a game fanatic and all that stuff. And you honestly think that big boob girls like these would honestly be into other things, but she's like a crazy game fanatic. And honestly, everyone loves Vert. Everyone loves Vert. But the thing I wanted to talk about with Vert is that, how do I say this? Now, it's not mean. Now, you already know how Vert was always over iffy in Rebirth 1. However, the person she loves the most is Nepgear. She's always wanted a sister, and Nepgear, she treats her like she's her own sister. And be minded, I'm not bringing up any other games besides Rebirth, because like I said, Rebirth is the only Neptunia game I finished, and I'm playing from the Rebirth series first before I even go on to any others. I have played Action Unleashed, but I just wasn't able to beat it, so I am going to get back to beating it if possible. at some point, but for now it's just gonna be Rebirth. So I am gonna be bringing up some scenes from Rebirth. Now Rebirth 1, basically, you already know how she was all over. You already know how she was all over Iffy all the time, right? She was always over If all the time. In Rebirth 1, she had a thing for If. But honestly, what I think Vert wanted, like, we all know that Vert wants a sister, because when she sees Nepgear, she has, like, I think it's mainly little girls that she has like a attraction to, like an addiction to, when it comes to, like, because she wants a little sister. She doesn't know what it's like to have a little sister like the other goddesses, because they all have sisters and all that stuff, and she's the only one that doesn't. And it honestly got me thinking, like, why did they make Vert like be the only one with no sister? And it's mainly because Xbox has no sister. Like, Xbox has no other console. But wait a sec. Now I'm thinking back then, it was mainly because of back then when Neptunia first started and all that stuff, when the first Neptunia game dropped. But I believe it dropped on 2010 for the first Neptunia PS3 game. But I think it got me thinking, the Xbox 360, right? Xbox 360 dropped on 2005, right? When did Neptunia first start? It was around 2010, right? So let me ask y'all this. So Vert, right? If she's like an only child, right? And we all know the sisters are just like from a different dimension, right? They're like from a different dimension stuff, but they're still their sisters regardlessly, though. They're like the CPU candidates. Now, Vert, right? The thing about Vert is, yeah, she represents Xbox, so she represents the Xbox itself. But who represents Xbox 360? Like, does she just represent not just Xbox, but also Xbox 360 as well? Because I'm not really sure. But if there's Xbox 360, she should have a sister. And I was asking my friend this. If there's Xbox 360, she should have a sister, right? And now like how many years have passed since then, right? Ever since Vert was introduced in Neptunia, right? So there's Xbox One now. We have Xbox One, Xbox One S, Xbox One X. So Xbox Series X or whichever. So wouldn't that mean Vert would have more than one sister, unless that third sister that she has would end up being the one for all of Xbox One, like all of Xbox One together, including, like, you know, all the Xbox One systems and all that stuff, including the S, and then like her other sister would be the Xbox One X. So I'm not really sure. I mean, honestly, I haven't really checked out Sisters X Sisters, because Sisters versus Sisters, because I'm still playing with the Rebirth series right now. I don't think I'm gonna make it to that at any point soon, but I am going to pre-order the game. It'll take probably a couple months for me to get to that game though, so I'm gonna try and find the right time to play it after I finish up the rest of the games. What I'm saying is that Vert should honestly have about 3 sisters. No, my bad, 2. She should have one of her sisters. One of her sisters should literally be the Xbox 360, while her other sister should be the Xbox One. So I'm honestly just confused of whether, like, of why Idea Factory did not bother to compound hard Idea Factory. I can't really understand. But what I don't understand is that, why didn't they just, you know, give her, like, why wasn't they just make her sisters like the Xbox 360 and the Xbox One? I mean, those are systems as well. And whenever other systems come out, that are from the same one, like, you know, Xbox 360, Xbox One, and look at PlayStation with PlayStation 1, 2, 3, PS4, PS5. So I'm thinking that each system would be like a sister for each of the characters, and not to mention I know this is all about Vert, but not to mention Noir as well. Noir and Uni, we know they represent the PS3, and Uni represents the PSP, right? So who would represent the PS4? Who would represent the PS5? This is like an important question, because I'm honestly thinking, if there's other systems out now, then maybe, I don't know, maybe Neptunia Sisters versus Sisters would honestly introduce the sisters, the other sisters, the other characters' sisters for their, you know, for their next systems, you know, because we got PS4, PS5, we got Xbox One, let's not forget Xbox 360, Xbox Series X, Xbox One S. So I'm thinking Then again, Xbox One and Xbox One S are basically just the same thing. It's just a different look on the console. It looks like a different type of way the console looks. So then again, Xbox One S would not really count. But then there's Xbox One X though. If that's the case, what about PS5 and Xbox One X? Like, who would Noir and Uni's sister be for PS4 and PS5? And what about for Xbox One X, huh? So that's just honestly something to think about. Now, you guys are probably gonna say, oh, you don't understand, you don't know what you're talking about and all that stuff. I am new to Neptunia. So mind you, I did say that at the start of the video. So I'm trying to put my own personal thoughts, and like my own personal questions of just basically this talk we just had mainly. Like, it's something to think about, because wouldn't these systems also be considered, be considered for for other consoles too? PS5, PS4, Xbox One S, Xbox One X, shouldn't there be more sisters for the characters, more CPU candidates? Now, like I said, I am new to Neptunia, so if you're gonna school me, please school me the right way, in a kind way. Otherwise, I'm just gonna delete your comment if you come off to me as a mean asshole. So just saying, I am new to the series, so if I got anything's wrong, you can correct me, but don't be rude about it. Otherwise, I'm just not gonna respond back at all and just delete your comment. I am new to Neptunia, and I want to enjoy the game without any fans, like talking shit and everything like that, and schooling me in the most meanest way. So please understand that I am new to it, and I am going to be dropping more discussions as I go through the franchise of Neptunia. Other than that, you guys, that's pretty much it. Tell me what your thoughts are and what do you think. I will see you guys later. Bankai Essential signing out.